Production of the J.R. Eldridge Show is made possible with financial support from Arnold, Batson, Turner & Turner, attorneys at law. Blake Bell of Edward Jones Investments. The accounting firm of Turner, Rogers, Manning & Plyler, PLLC. Southern Bancorp. Mary and Martha's Florist and Gifts. Jostens. Doctors Rob and Gary Rucker. Taylor King, Personal Injury Lawyers. Twin Rivers Health and Rehabilitation. Welch Funeral Home. Roger Wingfield of State Farm Insurance. And Southwest Sporting Goods. This is the J.R. Eldridge Show with the coach of the Arkansas State Champion Football Badgers. Joining Coach Eldridge today is your host, Caleb Bird.
Welcome back to yet another week of the J.R. Eldridge Show. I'm your host, Caleb Bird, and we're joined as always by Coach Eldridge. And Coach, the Arkadelphia conference season got off to a start Friday night. It was some bad weather for the game, raining all night in Nashville, and the Badgers ended up falling 28-23. It really seemed like a game where the team that won was a team that made the least amount of rain-related mistakes.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. You know, we really, I felt like first half we really did some good things. I mean, we started playing defense the way that we've been playing, created that turnover for a touchdown. KJ Terry coming up huge there, and you know, just really, I was really pleased in that first half. And then even in the second half, going back and forth, our defense really stopping a really good offense. And then, you know, it just we ended up making too many mistakes on special teams. So really three too many mistakes. We missed a field goal and then give up 14 points on our punt unit, and that's definitely not the way you want to lose a game. And you know, one of the things that we talked about as a football team on Sunday, it's really unforced errors. Unforced errors have really given us the record that we have. You know, if you cut out an unforced error here and there in three of our ball games, really, you know, we're at a record of 3-1. We really had too many versus Nashville. You know, but I've always thought, and I always continue to think, I really this football team, once we stop making those unforced errors, we've really got a chance to be a great football team. And having that I will make this play mentality, not putting too much pressure on yourself, but at the same time making sure that you're doing your job. I think that if we have that mentality and we can take that mentality and improve on our missed executions, I think we're going to be really good. And I've never doubted this football team, and I believe in this football team. I believe in our coaches. I believe in our players, and we look forward to another challenge this week.
And Coach, this week was a little bit different because you've transitioned into the new system this year, and you had a bye week to prepare for Nashville. So how did that bye week preparation play into the game?
Well, I mean, I feel like we were definitely prepared. I mean, our football team was prepared. We knew what we were going to get from their defense. We knew what we were going to get from their offense. You know, the biggest thing that the unknown factor was the weather. But again, I mean, that's part of the game of football, and we've got to be able to overcome whatever circumstances we have in a football game. And you know, so we were prepared as far as that goes. The bye week gave us an opportunity to get a little bit more healthy, and we've got to continue to do that as we move forward. But I definitely, you know, the bye week is the bye week, and gave us an opportunity to get a little bit more healthy and also to prepare ourselves for Nashville.
Right, so let's look at some of the film from the game. We don't have a complete highlight reel, but most of the highlights are on here.
Yeah, so this first, our kickoff coverage, that's one of our special teams units that really got a lot better. We had at least 2 TFLs, also had 2 touchbacks. Their average start line on our headhunters was backed up, so we were really proud of the way our headhunters played.
Defense starting the game here, a couple of big stops to start off. Offense comes on with the ball, can't convert on 4th down, so Nashville gets good field position and gets a long touchdown run.
Yeah, right there, we get a 3 and out. Defense does a great job on that on their first series, did a great job, and then really we went for it on 4th down. Thought we had a chance on the play that we had called. We weren't able to convert. And so we gave them a short field to work with, and they took advantage of that.
Arkadelphia's offense come back on here. There's Buster Thomas. He hasn't played yet this season, but he had a really big game on Friday.
He really did. Glad he's back to being healthy. Look forward to more good things from him. Just got a great attitude. Did a great job of working to be healthy, and he was on Friday night, so we're looking forward to having him make plays for us.
Gabe Goodman just there making a 40-yard field goal. It's impressive from a high schooler, but he could have been 10, 15 yards longer.
Yeah, he did a really good job on that one. We were able to get it through the uprights and give us 3 points right there.
Good job by the kick team to pin Nashville deep on offense. And then right there is a huge hit from Cole Turner, caused a fumble. KJ Terry returns it for a touchdown.
Yeah, both those guys did a great job on that play. Cole Turner played an excellent game, all game, really. I thought it was his best game at linebacker. Just really taking coaching and doing what he's coached to do, playing as hard as he can. And then KJ learned a new position, and he's been playing corner for us, did a great job at corner for us as well. And this right here, it's a great job. He could have been better as far as not allowing that separation from the beginning, but as far as playing that ball, definitely not a pass interference. Great coverage.
Right here is another big hit, a forced fumble from Cole Turner, doing a great job, caused a 4th down, but the Scrappers are able to convert.
Yeah, they convert right here, but again, I just I'd love to mention Cole again. He's really doing a good job and continues to get better.
Big penalty forces Nashville back into a long situation here, and ball is intercepted by Kai Harrison.
Yeah, Kyron had an excellent game. He had 9 unassisted tackles, 2 assists. He had 2 TFLs, 1 sack, and an interception. Just had an excellent game on defense. It helps when he doesn't have to play on both sides of the ball for an entire game.
Excellent play right there from Cannon. I've never really seen someone fake an option like that, but he did a great job executing the fake, getting into a scoring position, and then punching the ball in the end zone.
Yeah, we knew their outside linebacker was going to have to peel with that back, so we set up those plays for Cannon to be able to read that outside linebacker. Did a great job faking, throwing the ball, and then getting into the box. Cannon's had 2 games in a row where he's had 100 yards plus rushing, so he's really running the football well.
Defense here forcing out of the pocket, and then a nice pass break up by the defensive back. And the defense really played into the game here, and they're really firing on all cylinders.
They really are. Coach Kais, Coach Chandler, Coach Myers do a great job with our defense. And I felt like our defense played the best game, the most complete game that we've played up to this point. Really proud of the way they played, and just continue to look forward to that good football play.
Right here before the half, a big touchdown from Nashville with 11 seconds left in the first half, able to get in the end zone and make it a 3-point ball game heading into halftime.
Yeah, that's one thing we definitely don't want to do. We gave them the opportunity to score at the end of the half right there, and we've got to be better as we're going into half. You never want to give up a score going into half because it's just kind of a momentum swing. So we got to be better at the end of the second quarter there.
So, rain's starting to come down now at this point of the game. You're starting to see some bad snaps, some fumbled handoffs from both teams. There's a fumbled handoff from Nashville there. So the rain really started playing effect on the game.
That's correct. We weren't able to get that ball right there. Really it would have been nice to be able to create that turnover and be able to get that ball right there in that field position, but we weren't able to get it. And then we have our 2 mishaps on our punt team that the first one snapped over the head and into the end zone. Really what we want to do is kick that ball out of the back of the end zone so we only give them 2 points instead of a touchdown right there. And then, we've got to slow down and be able to make a good decision about punting that ball. You've got time. Gabe's just got to make a better decision and punt that ball away so that we're not giving him that great field position right there.
Right here, Arkadelphia, with the onside kick after a touchdown, is a really, really well executed kick. You just couldn't get into the hands of the hands team.
Yeah, we worked on that same kick all week. Gabe did a great job in practice and in the game right there. We just got to go get the ball. I mean, we've got to find a way to go get the ball. And really what it comes down to, we've got to, in those critical moments, and even moments that aren't so critical, every moment is critical. You look at those 2 situations. You look at it even in the Sylvan Hills game. You look at the special team situation on our punt team, our pride team, and those are key moments that you've got to be able to make plays in those situations. But you go back and look throughout the game. Where else could we made a difference in this football game, and you try to find those things, get better for the next week, and that's what we're going to continue to do. Like I said, I love this football team. They're they come back to work. I believe they're going to keep fighting and not get down. So we look forward to that. I mean, this is an opportunity for us to grow as a football team. Nothing is fatal yet as far as the playoff picture, as far as the conference race. Some of those things are still out there that we have a shot to really achieve, and so we're looking forward to being able to grow in character and in perseverance so that we can get prepared for that run.
What's the mentality like with the team right now, knowing that you're so close to a win and really you played a very good game of football? It's just a couple things that came down to it that ended up losing the game.
Yeah, and that's what's really tough. If you look back in 3 of our games, we lose by an average of 5 points, and there's 2 or 3 plays here and there in every one of those games that could have changed the game totally. And so really the biggest thing that as a coaching staff we want to do with our players is help them to understand that we believe in them, that there's no quit in us. We're going to come back to work every single week and try to do our best to put our players in position to make plays. And then just our players having that belief level, having that ability to come back to work this week to try it again. I mean, VVR is something that we talk about on a daily basis. Attack your responsibilities with excessive force over and over and over again. And this is a test of how relentless are we going to be. If you listen to, I don't know, I mean, you hear it on the radio, this is a test, this is only a test. Well, this is a test. This is a test of are we going to be relentless? Are we who we say we really are? Are we going to continue to come back to work over and over and over again? No, the tide hasn't turned yet. Yes, Nashville got more breaks than we did, but we didn't make some of the breaks that we could have in that game. So are we going to continue to come back to work and be relentless in what we do? I believe in this football team. I believe in our coaching staff. And so I look forward to a team that's going to continue to be relentless throughout the rest of the season and really for this week, because that's right in front of us.
All right, Coach. I want to go over what happened at the end of the game there because we didn't have a full picture of it in the highlights. So at halftime, the score is 17-14. Going in the second half, there was really defensive struggle in the second half. Neither team was really able to move the ball very well. And then just 3 touchdowns came off of bad snaps from punts. So 2 against Arkadelphia and 1 for the Badgers at the end of the game. Ended up Nashville able to kneel at the clock because of the not recovered onside kick. But let's talk a little about the offense in that second half. Not really able to move the ball very, very well and get into a scoring position. So what kind of played into that?
Well, I think partly, I felt like Nashville did a good job making adjustments for the second half. And we really, throughout the entire game, were not able to establish a run game. In the second half, the Nashville's defense did a lot of standing up and just running through gaps. We felt like we had a scheme that would be able to take care of that as long as we did our job up front. We feel like we've got to continue to get better about being able to know our job on the offensive line and then execute our job on the offensive line and finish blocks. So we weren't really able to establish a run game. So then, and really on first down, we weren't very good. So our goal is to get 4+ yards on first down. Well, if we don't get 4+ yards, now our second and long call is not as good. We're on second down. Really, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get half of the total distance so that you have a manageable third down. Well, we stayed behind the chains in the second half a lot. On first down, we weren't very good because we weren't able to establish that run game. And then it's raining, so now we put ourselves in throwing situations to where it's not a good situation for our offensive play call. It's not a good situation for our offense because, number one, the rain, but also just because, we haven't been able to establish that run game. So, we've got to be able to establish that run game. We've got to be able to throw the football even when that run game is not as good as we want it to be. We've got to be able to throw the football in second and long and third and long, and we're going to get better at that. I believe in our offensive line. I believe in our players. I believe in a new opportunity to do that this week, and we're going to continue to work toward that. But the bottom line is we got to be better on first down to give ourselves a chance on second and third down.
Right. So we mentioned earlier in the show that Cannon did a really, really nice job running the ball. His backfield partner Zion Hatley didn't have as much success on the ground. I know that against Wynn 2 weeks ago, he didn't play most of the game because of an injury. Was he still feeling that injury a bit this week?
Yeah, I think he was still hobbled up a little bit. We were hoping and praying that he'd be at 100% for the Nashville game. The ankle injury kind of lingered into the second week of the bye week, after the bye week into practice week. We've got great resources at Arkadelphia. And really, we use Ouachita's resources as well. So Dr. DeWitt saw him multiple times. We did everything we could to get him to where he was 100%. And then, he wasn't there yet. So I think that played into it a little bit. But Cannon really picked up the slack as far as the run game. But we really need to be able to have really a punch and a counter punch throughout the game back in the backfield, and that's what we've been able to do in the past, and hopefully Zion will be back and ready to go this week if we and Kyron Harrison can do the job. But you see what happens when he doesn't have to play the full game on offense. On defense, he has 9 unassisted tackles, 2 assists, 2 TFLs, 1 sack, and an interception. That's a totally different production game for Kyron on defense when he's not playing every snap on offense. So, and Kyron can do it. He can do it on both sides of the ball. But we're hoping that Zion can be healthy for this next game, and we have that two-headed monster, if you will, in the backfield for Robinson.
Right. So while the offense kind of sputtered in the second half, the defense put in an excellent performance. Nashville's a team that scored in their previous 2 games 63 points each game, and really you held the Nashville offense to 14 points.
Yeah, and that's something that number one, it goes back to our defensive coaches. Coach Kaiser, Coach Myers, Coach Chandler do a great job on defense, but it also says something about our players. They took responsibility for their job. They executed their job. We got better at running to the football. We got better at making tackles, sure tackles. Really, Nashville had three of the better backs that we faced. really all three of them were really good. Number 20, number 21, and number 12 were really good football players. They don't stop their feet on contact. I thought for the most part we were able to shut them down, shut down that run game, and then really, even when it was dry ball situations early in the game, we were able to limit their big plays through the air. And so, I was just really pleased with the way our defense played. We've got to continue to get better. We're going to have a big test this week, but again, our defense really rose up and did a great job. And another guy I want to mention, he's a Badger Spirit Award winner this week, Keelan Nelson. He had to learn a new position as well as a safety. He started at safety for us just as a sophomore. And there's some things obviously that he's got to clean up. He's got to get better with his eyes and read the correct, offender so that he goes to the right spot. But just being able to come in and do that as a sophomore was really impressive to me. He did a great job. And then KJ Terry, again, along with Kyron Harrison, Cole Turner, and some of those guys up front really did a good job. KJ had to learn a new position too. We felt like he'd be better suited for the corner position. He was able to play that corner position, had several big plays for us. So really proud of those guys and just want to continue to get better. I mean, that's really what it's all about every single day is learning how to be relentless in your job. Because I truly believe there's no greater teacher as a sport than football, because it's tough. It's a grind every single day, and you got to come back to work. You got to be relentless. And I feel like that's one of the biggest things that I got out of football as a player, and that hopefully these players are gaining from our program as they move forward in life.
And then finally, we mentioned him a couple times in this show, but Cole Turner had an amazing game. And he's someone that really came out against Nashville and showed that he is a vital part of this linebacking force. And it seems like from last season, we saw a little bit of him as a sophomore in some of the Mercy Rule games, but he seems like he's put on a lot of muscle this year, maybe hit a growth spurt, and he looks like a completely different player and a really dominant force at linebacker.
Yeah, he really has. I mean, he did a great job this week, and I think it begins in practice. He had a great week of practice, really studying the game plan. I mean, Coach Chandler does a great job getting those linebackers ready to play. And Cole has improved every single game, and I feel like he took that pressure that we were putting on him as a coaching staff to continue to get better, and he took it to heart and did a great job in practice this week, and it showed in the game. I mean, his energy, his effort, his willingness to run to the football on every play, had several really good tackles where he just squared up the back and brought his double uppercuts. So really proud of the way he performed this past week.
So let's look ahead to some of the conference games from next week. Some big scores last week, but we're going to look ahead next week. And the opponent for the Badgers is going to be Robinson. You see Robinson last week, they only defeated Fountain Lake 28-6. You expect a bigger score, but you mentioned to me earlier that game ended at halftime. But Robinson is one of, if not the best team in 4A this year. That's what all the experts say. But Arkadelphia has played Robinson close the last couple of years. Even despite Robinson's talent, I know that you and your coaching staff believe that you guys have a chance this week.
Oh yeah. I think Robinson's a good football team. They've got a lot of good athletes out there. And we just look forward to the challenge. We look forward to the opportunity to go, or really to play at home in front of our home crowd. And that's another thing I like to say real quick. I went back to our team's huddle as they're running out. I mean, I felt like we had more fans at the at the Nashville game from Arkadelphia than Nashville had from Nashville. Just looking up in the stands, and that says something about Arkadelphia people and their support of our program, their support of our players. We look forward to being back at home in front of our home crowd and look forward to the challenge of Robinson. They're well coached. They got good athletes, I can't wait for practice this week to get started, to install all of our game plans, put a great plan together, and for our players to really execute it in practice and then go out there and execute it in the game on Friday night.
You mentioned Robinson's athletes. They have multiple players with high major Division I football offers. How do you game plan to stop those outstanding players that Robinson has?
Well, you just got to, for us, we've just got to find out where they are on the field, know where they are on the field every play, and be able to adjust our game plan to what they're trying to take away versus our offense, and then what they're trying to do on their offensive side of the ball. So, that's what we look forward to doing. And then special teams, same thing. We've got to find out what are they trying to do and how are they trying to use these guys, and then how can we counteract that. And we look forward to doing that. We spent a lot of time on Sunday focusing on that as a coaching staff, and then we'll spend a lot of time this week coaching our players up on how we feel like the best way to attack Robinson is, and then be able to execute it on Friday night.
Right, Coach. And then finally, something that hasn't happened in a while, but the team started out 0-4. Everyone around the state, maybe people around town, look at that record and they say that's not a very good start to the season. When you look at the actual product that's been on the field, the team's a lot better than an 0-4 team, usually in 4A. And I'm sure there's not any teams that are 0-4 right now that are anywhere close to the Badgers' quality. And so how do you turn that mentality, that underdog mentality you might have right now in the season, into success for the rest of the season? It kind of reminds me of the team a few years ago that didn't have a great record, but then went on to the semifinals of the state tournament.
Yeah, and I think that's something that that's something that I feel like our players, I think they understand. I think they understand, and I think they believe in us as coaches, and we believe in them as players. And I feel like we have a great relationship with our players. I feel like our players understand where we're at, because we're going to tell the truth. Our coaching staff's going to tell the truth to our players, and we expect our players to do the same with us. And you're exactly right. In 2015, we got off to a rough start. I think we were 3-5 going into the Bauxite game, and then we went on a run that took us to the semifinals. Beat the number one team in the state in the quarterfinals, Dardanelle at the time. Then got beat by Prairie Grove at Prairie Grove's place. But I think it's just I think it's a belief level. It's a continual process every day and every week. And yes, our schedule was tough, but we missed opportunities. That is the truth. We missed opportunities. We could be 3-1 right now, and I'm saying Benton. If you take away all of our mistakes, it's probably a closer game. I don't know what the final would have been, but you look back at the other three and you go, a play here and there, and I think that's something that we've got to be able to build on. I think we've got to continue to go to work every day and know that hey, the tide may turn. Let's keep pressing. Let's keep working. Let's keep believing, because the tide may turn. And we believe it's going to turn this week. And if it doesn't turn this week, then we believe it's going to turn the next week. And that's what being relentless is all about. And I think it's a perfect opportunity for our players to learn that character trait of being relentless. Every situation that we're confronted with, we have an opportunity. And this is that opportunity to learn how to be relentless.
Right, Coach. We're all excited to see how that opportunity plays out this week against Robinson. It's going to be a really exciting game for the Badgers, 7 p.m. Friday night. If you can't make it to All Care Field, be sure to tune in at ArkadelphiaBadgerTV.com and watch the live stream. And as always, we'll be back next week with more of the J.R. Eldridge Show. We'll see you then.
The J.R. Eldridge Show is sponsored by Blake Bell of Edward Jones Investments, Welch Funeral Home, Southwest Sporting Goods, Arnold, Batson, Turner & Turner, attorneys at law. Jostens, Doctors Rob and Gary Rucker. Southern Bancorp. Taylor King, personal injury lawyers. Mary and Martha's Florist and Gifts. Twin Rivers Health and Rehabilitation. Turner, Rogers, Manning and Plyler, PLLC. And Roger Wingfield of State Farm Insurance. Join us again next week for more Badger football action with Caleb Bird and head coach J.R. Eldridge.